Hello, welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's just finished. West Ham United 0, Newcastle United 2. Different season. Some things don't change though, Gonzo. Where do you want to start? How do you want to do this review, Gonzo? Do you want to go through the thing like we normally do, or do you just want to have a summary at the start almost?
Yeah, look, I think so. Almost same old West Ham there. That wasn't the West Ham that we had seen at the end of last season. It was an insipid West Ham. It was slow, very ponderous, lacking in invention, players out of position. I said we needed to start brightly and start quick, and we didn't, mate. And we allowed the opposition to start bright and start quick. And the second goal, the game was lost by the time of the second goal. But to concede the goal from the area of the pitch where we know is weak, and just the whole thing was frustrating. There was so many poor performances. Even players that I feel at the tail end of last season who played well for us didn't perform in that. I don't know. I said I'd be really impressed if the coaching staff managed to lift everybody for that. I don't want to blame it all on the coaching staff, by the way, but it didn't seem like anybody was lifted by that. There was a massive. I know I know we're doing this a bit of a mess. Geo, there was a point on 81 to 82 minutes. I actually wrote down body language. We were 1-0 down. I looked at everyone's body language. They're all like this. I thought it was really poor. We don't read too much into it, of course, because it's the first game of the season. But you have to read something into it. And I think people throw it away by saying, "Oh yeah, well we usually lose our first game of the season," but I think we usually play bigger teams and better teams than this. And of course, you have the context of the games that we have coming up. I thought that was a really poor performance, mate.
I don't know where to start. Really, I was a bit concerned when I saw the lineup. I was a bit disappointed when I saw the lineup because for those that didn't watch the pre-match build-up show, to reiterate what I was thinking was. This team is what we saw at the end of last season when we were in a relegation battle. I felt that we were starting our lineup with square pegs and round holes already. Match day one, we've already got players squeezed into positions which we know they can't play. We know Pablo Fornals cannot play left wing. This isn't an experiment that hasn't worked out. This isn't trying something new. This isn't even, okay, we don't have a left winger, someone's going to have to play there. Could Fornals play there? We know the answer already. He's done the same thing over and over again, and it's not worked last season. That's fine. But the summer transfer window comes along. Go and address that situation. You know you have a problem with the left wing position. And I'm not even going to get into the fact that we sold the left winger. But Moyes knew the left wing position was not producing anything. Pablo Fornals was playing well, got put out into the left wing, stopped playing well. It's not a coincidence. Yet, tonight, we play Pablo Fornals left wing. The same thing that was not working last season. We've then got one striker in the club, in the senior squad. We've got one striker and he did not start. We've got Mark Noble playing a role which I'm not even sure what his role was tonight. On the paper it was a number 10, but he was deeper than Declan Rice for most of the evening. I don't know what was going on. We had two full-backs. Now, I actually think one of them played alright, but we'll get into that, right? But we have two fullbacks who were crap last season starting tonight. Now, while one of them played alright, one of them was just awful. One of them was really, really bad. Creswell playing crap is no surprise. Pablo Fornals not being able to play left wing is no surprise. Mark Noble not really doing a number 10 job in a number 10 role is no surprise. Mikel Antonio not being a striker is no surprise. So why the fuck on match day 1 are we already lining up with issues that we already know about? It's just beggars belief, Gonzo. And the worst thing is, as the game was going on and it wasn't working, I just thought, hey, there's only one thing happening here, because our manager will change fuck all at half time when it's not working, and he will change fuck all until Newcastle score a goal. We can't blame Sullivan for that performance. We can blame Sullivan for Moyes not having all the tools he needs for tonight, but Moyes won't be the only manager starting match day 1 thinking, I could have done with an extra couple of players. Every manager, Steve Bruce is probably thinking, I wouldn't have minded a new right back actually, so I don't have to play Mankilo. But do you know what he done? He put a right back in the right back position. It's just, we were awful for that first 20 minutes. We barely got our half gone. So somehow we hit the bar twice in the first half. I'm not even sure how we managed it. But we were just shit. we were. I thought in spells, I thought we looked okay at times. I thought one or two players looked quite good, but generally I thought everybody was, overall, I think everybody was below par. I'm not even sure what the game plan was. At one point, Creswell took about 3 minutes to take a throw, and he gave it to Antonio to take a long throw, who then threw backwards. And I thought,
it was bad.
What is going on here? We don't even know how to take a throw in at the minute. What is this? It's just, we've had all pre-season. We've had a small pre-season, but we've had the same amount of time as Newcastle. One team out there looked prepared. One team out there looked organised. One team out there had the right players in the right positions and knew what they were doing. And it wasn't West Ham United. Anyway, first half. What did you make of the first half?
Well, obviously Newcastle did start well. I thought it was terrible technique from both teams. Actually, at the start, I've got to say it was header, elbow, foul, hoof, repeat. Header, elbow, foul, hoof, repeat. Andy Carroll was elbowing anybody he possibly could. We were fouling Saint-Maximin. Newcastle were fouling Antonio. Lots of other fouls going on. Then a bit more hoof, and then a bit more head tennis. An awful game of football. I was watching it. I was thinking, well, this rare for me, mate, because of the way the games are staggered. I've actually seen at least some of all the games today. This was the worst game out of all of them, by the way. And I was looking at that, thinking, this is absolutely terrible. Antonio was knackered by the 32nd minute because he was so damn isolated. What was Noble doing? I think I sussed it out because I was looking at it thinking he's so deep. I almost took a photo to post it somewhere, but then realised I had nowhere to post it. So I didn't. But I just looked, and I think what the idea is. It's terrible, by the way. I think what the idea is here is that so as Souček can get forward, and so basically Noble starts as number 10. But the idea is Souček will drift into that position to either arrive late into the box or to be there for a header. And at that point, Noble's supposed to drop back and fill in as a defensive midfielder. I'm sure that is the tactic. But it's some sort of new thing that Moyes has invented. But it's not very successful. So he's not even just a normal number 10. He's almost like a left-sided number 10 who can drop back and be a defensive midfielder. It's not innovative. Well, it may be innovative. It doesn't work. Because it's absolutely awful. Because what happens is Souček will get forward and he'll either have a header or he won't, and then he gets back, and then what you actually have is a very deep three. And again, Antonio is completely isolated up front. Fornals is nowhere near him because Fornals is a winger, and Fornals naturally gravitates towards going centrally. So I looked today and you had Rice, Souček, Noble and Fornals almost bunched together. A wide open, like the Grand Canyon down our left side. And unfortunately, when you've got someone like Bowen who didn't perform today, who couldn't get into the game as well, so he couldn't get close to Antonio, I felt so sorry for him. I looked at 31 minutes. He'd been hacked around a bit, but it wasn't just him being hacked. He'd done so much running. I was just absolutely gobsmacked that they could come up with a tactical plan like that and just a team not to be able to hold its shape. I did. I wrote all that down there. Absolutely dismayed by what I saw in the first half. Obviously, I thought second half they're going to get in and sort those issues out.
You're a bit more confident than I was. But I honestly think it comes back to Moyes for me that if it's not going well in the first half, I think we're almost screwed. I do. I don't have any faith in him changing anything at half time, changing anything early on in the second half. I just don't. And in the first half, I thought we were really poor for the first 20 minutes. I thought we were quite fortunate that Newcastle were a bit wasteful in the final third. They weren't really doing much. Wilson had a couple of snapshots. Andy Carroll almost scored a worldie at one point. When he started doing that keepy up stuff, I thought, no. Then he volleyed it with his weak foot as well. I thought, please just... we hit the bar a couple of times. I thought Antonio was unlucky. I think Fornals was unlucky when he deflected and went onto the bar. Souček's header, he could have done a bit better. I thought it was in, to be honest with you. When he headed it, I thought it was going in. but went in 0-0. I thought we played well for that 10-minute spell in the second half, to be fair. I thought we did good for 10 minutes. I thought we were on top of Newcastle. I thought we were moving the ball a bit well. I thought Fredericks was getting down the right-hand side really well. I thought we were starting to pick him out quite good. But some of his crossing was good as well, Fredericks, tonight. It's the best crossing I've ever seen from him. Duration of 9 minutes. We saw the good, the bad and the ugly of Fredericks, but I thought there was more good than bad and ugly, and thank God he's fast, because Fornals put St. Maximin through and goal, and that any other defender, and he's getting a shot away from that. But at half time at 0-0, I was thinking, well, I don't know here, because I'm glad we're not losing, but I've just got no faith that we're going to change anything. I would have loved to have seen Fornals come off or move into Noble's role, Haller come on and put Antonio out on the left to go up against Manquillo. I thought there was one sub could have changed our dynamic completely, but it just had no face, so we come out with the same team, and I thought, well, we all know what's going to happen. But Callum Wilson, when he signed for Newcastle and they asked him about his first game, he's with a smirk on his face. He said he's looking forward to playing West Ham. He always does well against West Ham. He's done well again tonight, Gonzo. 55 minutes, 10 minutes after half-time, 1-0 Newcastle.
Yeah, and he looked good, didn't he? Let's be fair. He looked like a striker, which was, obviously good for Newcastle. They bought a proven Premier League striker there, and I'm sure he'll score whatever 10 to 15 goals from this season. So yeah, he looked really good. No surprise where the goal came from, by the way, down that flank again. It was a deflected cross, but unfortunately, because there was almost nobody there, then you had Fornals up against I think it might have been Manquillo actually. But again, Fornals is so slow. I'll tell you how slow Fornals is, right, by the way, because when I first saw him, I thought, this guy's slow, and I said it a few times. People said, oh, he's not as slow as you think. I'll tell you exactly how slow he is. He's slower than Andy Carroll, because they had a race today, and Andy Carroll caught him, okay? So let's just get that right. Now, I do think he's got qualities, and I do think I love the way he carried on working, by the way. I don't blame him for the position he's in, and I would like to see him as a number 10. But anyway, Manquillo basically slowed the ball up, and then knocked it, and basically, so then they had of course, he was able to get the crossover because he's faster than Fornals. Everybody is. The cross came over, and it was slightly deflected, but Hendrick reacted to that deflection far quicker than Ogbonna did. I was disappointed how slowly, and then so he actually quite intelligently nodded the ball over. I thought Fabianski should have done a whole lot better. I looked at Diop was. We'll talk about Diop later, but I thought Diop could have done more, but then I looked at it when I saw it the second time. I thought, actually, no, I think Diop was quite confident. He couldn't then go round him without fouling him. I think Fabianski looked like he could and should have got the ball. I thought it was quite weak in a way where he sort of half punched it out. So I would say an avoidable goal because there were mistakes all the way along, but a predictable goal as well, Geo, if you know what I mean. That goal, I know it had a deflection, but the goal wasn't a fluke, if you know what I mean.
I get you, yeah, but my disappointment is that ball loops when the deflection loops it, and it's in the air for quite a long time. I am shocked our centre backs, one of them isn't getting their head on that. It's not good. The ball's in the air, you can see it quite far. It's dropping into our box, and Ogbonna doesn't get there. Diop stood still while Callum Wilson moves, and Fabianski doesn't know Callum Wilson's coming, obviously, so he's thinking he's got a clear punch at it, and it's just. I think that was coming, though. I think that kind of play was coming. There was too many times that the ball come into our box and they were a bit statuesque. So to see that goal go in doesn't surprise me a little bit. And you can look at the friendly against Bournemouth, the goals Bournemouth scored. Similar defending there as well, where they're just standing around doing nothing. So they stood there and watched Callum Wilson poke it in. And the worst, what really annoys me, I think for Newcastle fans have got this far, I think it's a legit goal. I've got no complaints about the goal whatsoever. But even it was a reasonable high foot. It was high foot, but he got the ball. So like I said, I do think it's a goal. But we didn't even complain. If that was Leeds earlier, they would have surrounded the referee and said, hang on a minute, no. That striker just put his studs up our goalie's hand. You can't allow that. You'd at least cause a little bit of uncertainty, if you like. But there was none of that. There was just like, oh well, 1-0 down. What do we do now? Well, we know what we do. We'll wait 10 minutes and the manager might change something eventually. He did, though. Ali and Yarmolenko come on for no finals. But until it was 2-0, what did you make of the play then?
Well, I thought we were so slow. We were so slow. The trouble was, by the time we went before 1-0, they had space in behind them. So actually, it would have been advantageous for us to have somebody quick on because we could have run in behind their back line. At the point where they went 1-0, Lascelles basically said, right, everybody back. Well, maybe the manager instructed them to go back. I thought at that point he was a captain of the ship. He was in high command then, Lascelles. He was marshalling his troops behind him. There was now no space to run in behind. But I was looking at it and I actually wrote down we had nobody to carry the ball up the pitch. Nobody. And it was funny enough, there was one point, going back to the first half, where we had a little bit of possession. They were quite high up their pitch, Newcastle's back line. And Fredericks made a bombing run. And he had timed his run beautifully. And basically, he was going that way to attack as their defence was pushing up. And Noble had the ball. Go on, go on, go on. And for some reason, he didn't play him in. He did his little turn he learnt off Scott Parker and sort of recycled the ball and went backwards. What are you doing? That was the one quick player in our team. Go on, release him. No, he didn't do it. So I found that quite annoying. But then, so I thought, okay, we need to inject some pace. And I know we had to do something. So, look, no offence to Haller and Yarmolenko, but I'm looking for number one, someone to carry the ball forward. Number two, for some pace. And he takes two slow players off and puts two slow players on. And not that I think Felipe Anderson is going to do anything for us or anything, but at least change it up a bit. Do something else. And I thought Bowen was having such a poor game anyway. Actually, the final nail in his coffin was putting him onto the left, where he was even more ineffective. I wasn't thinking very good thoughts. As I say, it got to, wrote it down, 81st minute, all the way to this 82nd minute. I watched their body language, and they hadn't even scored the second goal then. But what's going on here? A lot of hunched shoulders going on, a lot of walking around the pitch. Wasn't pleased at all.
I had hunched shoulders as well because I had no faith in us getting back into the game, Gonzo. I don't blame the players. You saw Noble's face when he was on the bench. He had a face like thunder. I can understand why. He's been crying out for younger players into the squad, probably because he feels like our build-up's slow and stuff. And then he's got the same players around him as he did last season. Probably doesn't even want to start games like this, Noble. He's probably thinking, hang on a minute, I should be playing against Charlton on Tuesday night in the League Cup. That's my game. You feel like the old boy and let him have his captain's armband for that, not this one. No, I should not be playing this one. I'm too old. You should have the young guy here. I completely understand that. I actually thought Yarmolenko looked good when he come on, but the problem is this is why he looked good, because we're relying on an individual to do something. We're relying on one person to say, you know what, I'm going to grasp this game by the neck because none of you are doing something. I'm going to do something. I was waiting for Yarmolenko to hit a 20-yarder or something. That's the only way I thought we would score. I thought Allaire looked reasonably busy when he came on in the box. I thought, okay, we've now got something in the box to aim for. But we weren't putting the crosses in. We just don't put enough in. We put a few in. Fredericks was getting them in, but that's it. Creswell kept going backwards. Rice did more passes to Newcastle tonight than he did to West Ham. Souček's he's just not that good on the ball. Souček. I've not seen him do a pass where I think, oh, wonderful pass, Souček. And I'm talking about last season as well. He's fantastic in the air. He runs around and stuff, but he's never going to do that this defence splitting pass. And there was just no creativity whatsoever tonight, and there was no game plan. I think if you're lacking creativity, you've got to then do something to combat that. And if that is putting in loads of crosses, you don't have to be creative to put the cross in. All you've got to do is land the ball on someone's head between the 6-yarder and the 18-yarder. Even then, you don't even have to land on their head. Just stick it in the box and see what happens. But we weren't even doing that. We had no plan whatsoever. Newcastle defence must have been laughing in that second half. They must have thought, is this it? We made subs and did what we were already doing, but wasn't working. We didn't change anything. We just did like for like subs and shuffled the pack around a little bit. Steve Bruce must have been smirking. Honestly, David Moyes is one of the easiest managers to come up against in the league. I'm convinced. I would love to come, if I was a manager, that is, I would love to come up against Moyes every week, because I know if I go 1-0 up, I've won the game. I'd look at him and then, what are you going to do? You are not good enough to change that game. What are you going to do? And I'm going to have this feel. We've now got 6 hard games coming up. This was I don't want to label it as a must-win, but this game was big for us tonight. And it now means that we need to pick up points against unfavourable fixtures in the next, because you can't lose the next 6 games. You cannot have 0 points after 7 games. It's unacceptable. But we're now in a position we've got to do something. We've just put massive pressure on us. We've got the League Cup on Tuesday night, which I think is probably already going to convince the board and the manager, don't bother with it. Completely change that 11, put a completely different 11 out, and don't really worry if you go out of the cup. I think it can change the mentality of that, because already we had a relegation battle vibe prior to tonight. The whole club did.
Oh,
it's only got stronger after that. You've only come away from that thinking, we're in for a tough season. There wasn't much positives out there. The people that we thought would be positive for us weren't. And collectively, the whole thing's a concern. I mean, Newcastle scored a second goal, Gonzo.
Well, I'll tell you, that goal there was for different reasons was embarrassing, really, because Almiron and Carroll just played all around Issa Diop. And then, listen, don't get me wrong, the finish was lovely, really, really good finish from Hendrick, who will be absolutely delighted with his debut. And it sort of lessens my my point, the fact that Hendrick scored a goal like that. And just before he scored the goal, he also played a lovely reverse pass over the top, I think possibly to Manquillo again, who had overlapped him. So they were actually 2 really good parts in the game. However, I think Hendrick is a functional winger, right? This is not, it's not Jadon Sancho, right? And I thought he gave Cresswell the absolute run around. Honestly, it was quite something. But just before we get to that, just on that goal, it's simple. It was boys' football, 1-2s and triangles all around Issa Diop, who had the full Scooby-Doo, you know, what's going on here sort of thing. And then the ball came over to Hendrick and he dispatched it really, really well. Terrible, absolutely terrible defending for that again. Not that they needed a cherry on the cake, but it just allowed them to play out the final few minutes in relative comfort. And there were a few minutes we had a nice bit of time added on by the referee, a nice bit of time, when realistically we should have been, all right, 1-0 down, we're 1-0 down, but we should have been able to do stuff with our substitutions and stayed at 1-0 down and really be pushing them. And I reckon David Moyes comes away today and thinks, oh, you know, we've got lots of corners. I think we've got more corners than Newcastle. I think it's fair to say that. I reckon he'll look at that as stats, thinking, hold on, yeah, shots on target and hitting the bar and corners. And I bet he looks at that, but it will tell a lie. The stats aren't always reflective of anything, and that will not tell the true tale of that game. And as I say, that was just it. That final goal allowed them to. It was pipe and slippers time for whatever it might have been. The last, included injury time, might have been the last 8 to 10 minutes of the game, which meant we weren't able to do anything. Poor show, mate. Poor show.
It just sums up my concerns with West Ham, actually, that goal, because not the fact that they just ran through our team and danced around our players, but the fact is the guy that set it up was a substitute. He came on, made a difference, and the guy that scored and the first one actually was a new signing. So how do you impact your team? You bring in new blood, and then your manager then changes the game as the game goes on. Newcastle's done it both times. We've got the same 11 that was in a relegation battle, and we somehow think we're not going to be in a relegation battle. I don't understand it. I don't understand the lineup tonight, Gonzo. I don't get it. I struggle to see why we've done that. If this makes the Dean Garner sale look even more embarrassing, the fact that we are going to continue to play 4-2-3-1 with a left wing position with no left winger in the team, or if we do have a left winger, Mr. Jim White saying we've got eight wingers in the team. Well, I'd like to know who the hell they are.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
Because this is where I'm actually going to defend Moyes. What else is he meant to do? Well, I say Fanal shouldn't play there. Who else is meant to play? But then we know the answer. Dean Garner was meant to play there. So it comes back to the same old issues. What the hell are we doing? I think this Newcastle's second goal could be a problem for West Ham in transfer window going forward. Yes. I think it means we're going to go all out for Tarkowski now. I think we're going to look at that and think we need Diop out of there. We need Tarkowski in there. I think that means we're going to spend more than we should on him. And that's going to be all the money gone. All of it gone. Left back, no, there's no funds. You've just spent 40 million on that centre back. There's no money left for the left back. And I think it's a bit scary, actually. I think I was hoping Diop would have a blinder tonight to make Moyes and the board to reconsider the Tarkowski thing and think, oh, hang on a minute, Cresswell was really bad, maybe we should go get a left back instead. But I think with that performance from Diop might just confirm, it's confirmation bias as you call it. They think they've got an issue at centre back, they just got shown they've got an issue at centre back tonight, and I think it might just be enough to push the board to increase their bid for Tarkowski, and I think that could be really bad. If you put Tarkowski in there, we've still got an issue at left back, we've still got an issue with the left wing position, we've still got an issue with striker, the number 10 role, we've still got all these issues, but the difference is we've got no fucking money to do anything with it. I'm really, really worried after tonight, Gonzo. I was hoping to be proven wrong tonight by the manager, I was hoping to be proven wrong by a couple of the players, but I don't feel like it was. Anyway, individual performances, we'll rattle through this one or we'll be here all night, but...
Look, just on that, the Diangana thing, you know, I've been told by a few people to stop mentioning Diangana, but I'll tell you what, it's bloody hard. It's hard to take him out of the equation because that is the whole context of the situation on the left-hand side. And yeah, I mean, I don't particularly want to go on about it, but it's how we meant to have this discussion about the left-hand side of the team and not bring up, so as you know, don't mention it. In terms of, and I'm glad you said what you said. I mean, you named all the positions. You pretty much took the words out of my mouth, which was going to be, if the board, just what I've written down just then, if the board can look at that and Moyes can look at that and just think, oh, we need a centre half, then they're not watching the same game that I'm sure you, I, and the rest of the people watching this video and the game themselves saw. I think the truth is somewhere in between, by the way. I think we were really good at tail end of last season. I don't think we were as good as that, but I don't possibly think we're as bad as we were today. And I'm pretty sure it will level out. But even when it does, you still have to address the way teams keep scoring against us. You have to. You can't keep letting that go on. And we have to address the fact that we don't have the pace. We've got to deal with it. In terms of today... okay, well, let's deal with Ryan Fredericks. Ryan Fredericks had a really good game. A game... I was going to say game I didn't think he had in him. No, because I think I've actually given Ryan Fredericks man of the match before. But I think Ryan Fredericks is quite a limited footballer. I think his first touch is poor. I think his pass is poor. But today, I thought he kept it relatively neat and tidy. He didn't lose the ball too many times. When Ogbonna hit the bar, that was the cross from Fredericks. It was a really lovely cross. He went and he did it again. He did two really nice crosses today. I still think positionally, sort of, you know, when we're trying to... I'm pretty sure that someone's going to get frustrated with him because he couldn't join in really with what Bowen wanted to do, which sort of added to that. But he made a really good interception. He made another really good tackle, and then the point that you alluded to, where you mentioned in the build-up, you wasn't sure, who was quicker or whatever, but Ryan Fredericks was a good guy to have in there at right back to maximum's pace. Well, I'm glad he did, and really, really good. So I actually thought he had a good performance today, and I was pleased about that. And what it really does, if we are limited to who we can buy, I think it really highlighted today. Aaron Cresswell was so bad. It wasn't just defensively. Even the crossing, the passing, almost everything was bad from Cresswell. And I don't want to, because I do think he was a good purchase for us. I do think he's been a good signing. He came from Ipswich, not for tons of money. He's had a good West Ham career. And I don't want to go at him. He's clearly a nice guy. But I think he needs to be rested. He needs to be taken out of the firing line. We need a new left back there. And even though I did think that Rico Henry, for instance, looked a little bit defensively susceptible himself, at least he adds something attacking. He's going to get you some assists. He's going to get you some goals. He's going to do something. Cresswell's not giving us any attacking output. He's not doing anything in midfield to link the play, and he's not defending as well. I thought it was really, really poor. Bowen, as I've mentioned, I thought was quiet today. Antonio, nothing he tried came off, although obviously he ran himself into the ground pretty much. I just feel sorry for almost exactly the same reason. I actually feel sorry for Fornals. Didn't stop running. Really tried hard. Can't do it. It's not his position. Not fast enough. Centre halves worried me today. I thought they both made individual errors today. I really, really did. That was a bit of a worry. Actually, Fabianski made a couple of good stops. Before he, I thought he could have done better for that goal. As I say, actually, Declan Rice was driving the ball. Declan Rice tried everything to try and do better in that game. Actually, the two best passes from a West Ham player were from Declan Rice today. The two defence splitting passes we played were played by Declan Rice. One of them was to Fredericks, who had overlapped. Souček couldn't get involved in the game. Of course, he provided a goal threat at one point, as I expected him to. Noble, it was... I'd say the same what I said about Cresswell. I don't want to go in two-footed, so to speak, on Noble, but I thought it was poor. I thought it was pretty poor today.
Yeah, I thought this was one of Fredericks' best games for us, to be honest with you. I thought he was really good. I thought his runs were fantastic at times. They timed them really well, really quick. While we were worried about St. Maximum exposing him, I thought he exposed St. Maximum's lack of tracking back, if you like, at times. We just didn't utilise it enough. We did not utilise Fredericks enough. I thought his crossing was good. I thought the centre-halves were not great. I thought Bonner was worryingly nervy a bit today, but when you've got Diop playing like that next to you, you've got Cresswell next to you, you're going to be a bit nervous, aren't you? I thought Diop, every time I watch that, I've got the TV over there and I've seen that first goal back a couple of times now. I just don't get what Diop's doing. He's just stood still. He's just stood there watching. It's not good. Cresswell was just awful, but I find it hard to criticise Cresswell because we know he's awful.
Yeah.
This wasn't a bad performance for Cresswell. This was an average performance for Aaron Cresswell now. And it's a shame. He's just getting on a bit. I think he's been a bargain signing when you consider how much we paid. He's had that horrible injury. He's not been the same since. But I don't know why we're playing him. I almost feel a bit sorry for him that we're exposing him almost. We're hanging him out to dry a bit and putting a really slow player in front of him, so he's going to get attacked quite a lot because teams are going to take advantage of Fanal's being slow, saying, well, if you get down the right, the left midfield can't chase you, so Cresswell's going to have a lot of people running at him. I thought Rice was awful tonight, Gonzo. I thought Declan Rice was really, really poor. I thought his passing was really sloppy. I thought he didn't really offer that much protection from the back four like he normally does. He got players ran past him a couple of times, which he normally wouldn't allow. I thought he was really, really bad. Declan Rice, that's one of the worst games I've seen him play for West Ham. I know the pass top out with Fredericks, but he was giving away simple passes, stuff that he didn't even need to try and do. He just didn't. I don't know. I'm just a bit worried at how bad he was. Actually, we can excuse it. He still starts the next game. He's got enough credit in the bank for that. But he was. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that it was down to the fact he's played 180 minutes for England or whatever. I don't know, but I just thought he was really bad. Souček's limited ability was exposed a little bit tonight and didn't take advantage of him in the air. That Antonio Fanal's hustle and bustle. Bowen was very quiet. I thought Yarmolenko looked good when he came on. But I don't know. Nobody played. There was only one or two players I could say played well tonight, and that's extremely worrying. While I criticised the manager's tactics, those on the pitch did not carry out what they were meant to do. I would question if they know what they're meant to do, but giving them, just assuming that they know what they're meant to do, it's not good, Gonzo. Right, can I get your final words in a second? Before I get Gonzo and myself's final words, can you drop a like on the video if you're enjoying it, subscribe if you're new to the channel and that. And Gonzo, can I get your final thoughts of tonight's defeat, please?
Yeah, look, I'm going to try and this is a review in isolation. I'm going to try and not be doom and gloom, and I'm going to try and take the balance between the end of last season and this one. That being said, I don't think we can go skipping and singing into the next few games without worrying a little bit. There's we've still got a transfer window open. There's a lot that still needs to be done, and we need to go and we need to do it. And so we cannot carry on like we did today, that's for sure. We need to improve, not just in players, we need to improve in our intensity, we need to improve our game plan, we need to improve our technique, and we need to improve our squad by bringing some players in. Apart from that, it's all good. Man of the match are probably the same as yours, as from the moment you said it at the start as well, where one fullback was good and one was awful. So yeah, I'm actually going to give it, believe it or not, to people, the patrons will not believe this, I'm going to give my man of the match to Ryan Fredericks.
Yeah, same. My final thoughts are, I'm not surprised, but yeah, I find myself somewhat disappointed and angry. It's match day 1. This is an important thing for me, Gonzo. It's match day 1. If this was match day 35, we were in a relegation battle, I could accept the lineup that we're patching it up and we're just doing what we've got to do. But I cannot accept that we've gone into the first game of the season with the same team as last season, which I just don't get it. I just don't get what the manager's doing. I don't get what the board are doing to the manager, and they've got to. I know people say, "Oh, it's not your money" and all that, but the board now do have to go out and back the manager. If that wasn't a wake-up call for Moyes tonight, it wasn't a wake-up call for some of the players, and it wasn't a wake-up call for the board already after one game, then we're quite frankly fucked. I'm not looking forward to. I wasn't really looking forward to tonight until a few hours for a kick-off, and I got a bit excited. Well, about half an hour into the game, I remembered why I wasn't really looking forward to tonight. At half-time, I remembered why I wasn't very excited. I'm not looking forward to the game next week either. I'm not even looking forward to the game against Charlton on Tuesday in the Cup.
No.
It's just... Tonight's defeat now makes me think we're going to throw the cup already. It's just the mentality of the club. It's so short term. It's so cheap. You can smell it a mile away, and I think Newcastle smelled it tonight, and they took advantage of it. And the other teams are going to do the same as well. It's difficult to have any positivity tonight, to be honest with you, Gonzo. But tomorrow's a new day. I'll get up, I'll smile, and I'll probably go watch Leicester play purring football and think, oh, remind a bit of that. Anyway, we'll leave it there.
Yeah, we got our prior ratings.
Yes, patrons, player ratings will be up tonight. If you're not already a patron, you want to hear us, give more and a lot more, more and a lot more, and give some player ratings to some players. The link's in the description below if you want to support the channel. It'd be much appreciated. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here, and we'll catch you in a bit.